Hello, welcome to you. So in this video, let us discuss the concept elasticity of demand and different types of elasticity of demand. Some of you have asked to prepare a video for the same. So in case of law of demand, probably you have learned that when the price falls, demand rises, and vice versa. But by how much is the responsiveness of demand? That couldn't be calculated in case of law of demand. So that is done through the concept of elasticity of demand. What is that elasticity? So all of you are aware of a commodity called elastic. So which expands and contracts based on the pressure exerted on it in the similar fashion. By which proportion the demand gives response to a change in price is discussed here through a formula. Okay, exactly this could be calculated. So elasticity is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q. That means change in quantity by change in price into price by quantity. This formula we do use for calculating exactly what the elasticity of demand is. And same formula will do for elasticity of supply also. Only the variation is that quantity. Here in case of elasticity of demand, it is quantity is responsiveness of demand. And in case of elasticity of supply, the Q represents quantity of commodity supplied. Okay, so here let us take an example. When price varies, price changes from rupees 10 to rupees 12 per unit of a commodity, any commodity, maybe ice cream cone or a pen or a pencil, whatever it is. Quantity, what usually happens when the price rises? That is that quantity falls because of rising price. So falling quantity is from 100 units to 80 units. So let us calculate in order to find out exactly what the responsiveness of demand is. So change in quantity delta Q, that is 100 to 80, that means it is minus 20. And you have to remember that for the sake of convenience we ignore the minus sign for while calculating the price elasticity of demand only. Okay, divided by change in price is 2 into, it is also called as first price first quantity method. First price first quantity. Price 1 is 10 and quantity 1 is 100. So now we calculate, so 2 ones are 2, tens are, it is minus, and 10 ones are 10, 100 tens are, right? So 10 goes into 1, so elasticity is equal to 1. So let us take one more example. So here, because the proportionate change in quantity and price is exactly same, so we have got the answer elasticity is equal to 1. Let us try to understand it with different numericals. So suppose if a price falls, say from 12 units to say 8 units, and what should correspondingly happen to the quantity? There is fall in price, so quantity of demand should rise. So it may rise from say 150 units to 200 units. So how do we calculate? Use the formula. Change in quantity delta Q, that is 150 to 200, that is positive development here, that is 50 plus 50 divided by 28, that is minus 4 into first price first quantity. First price is 12 divided by first quantity 150. So 51 is 53 times. Right, then 4 to 12, 4 ones are 4 3s are 12, so is equal to 3 by 3. So it also is equal to 1 now. Okay, elasticity is equal to 1 even in this case, because of proportionate change in quantity and price have become one and same. Let's take one more example. You can pause the video and see, or you can just see it again in case you require to get it clarified. So suppose price rises say from 10 rupees to say 15 rupees, and as a result if quantity falls from 100 units to say 90 units. So here we will get definitely the different answer. So delta Q is minus 10, that is 100 to 90. It has fallen 10, right, minus 10, and then of course price. Rise in price is delta P is 5, positive, and then of course what the first price is 10, right, and first quantity is 100. So now we can calculate 10 tens are 100, so it is 10, and here again we can go for further calculation. 10 minus is 1, and 1 are minus 1. So it is 5 into 1 is equal to 1 by 5. It is equal to 0.10. 2. Right. So elasticity is equal to 0.2. That means it is less than 1. Elasticity is less than 1. 1 is greater. It is less than 1. So this is how we do calculate the elasticity of demand. Let us see the different types of price elasticity of demand. First one is perfectly elastic demand. There the demand curve will be the horizontal straight line which runs parallel to y axis. This will be the demand curve. This is y axis and this could be the price. This O. And here elasticity is equal to infinity. Why it's infinity? Because irrespective of change in price, the quantity demanded may go up to limitless extent or it may come down to zero. There's nothing restricts the movement of the quantity. Irrespective of change in price, quantity demanded may move up to unlimited extent or it may come down to zero. So practically, we don't see this type of condition in society, so we cannot give any example for the same. Okay, so or in other words, if there is a slight rise in price, quantity demanded may come down to zero, or if there is a slight fall in price, quantity demanded may go up to limitless extent. This is perfectly elastic demand. And the second one, if we have to see this perfectly inelastic demand, where demand curve is vertical straight line which runs parallel to a y-axis. Okay, this could be the demand curve in second case, where quantity demanded never varies irrespective of variation in price. Price may vary. Price may be 1 rupee or 2 rupee or 3 rupee or 4 rupee, whatever it is. So irrespective of change in price, the quantity demanded remains constant. For example, salt or sugar. A household consumes, say for example, 3 kilos of salt per month, and that remains constant whatever may be this price. So price may be 1 rupee, 2 rupee, or 3 rupee, or 10 rupees, or 20 rupees. So quantity of salt consumed by a household remains constant irrespective of change in price. So quantity demanded remains constant in case of price inelastic demand, or it's called perfectly inelastic demand. So here elasticity is equal to 0 because there is no change in quantity demanded irrespective of change in price. Then we have got the third type of elasticity of demand, that is relatively elastic or more elastic demand. So what is more elastic demand? Where we have the demand curve flatter. Here it represents that for a given change in price, quantity demanded gives greater response to that change. So here in this case, change in price is smaller, but change in quantity demanded is greater. So quantity demanded gives greater response to a change in price. Okay, here your price may fall from rupees 10 to rupees 8, but quantity demanded, it may rise from say 5 units to 12 units. So for a given small change in price, if price falls from 10 rupees to 8 rupees, quantity demanded may rise from 5 units to 12 units. So here the percentage change is only 20%, 10 to 8. But here the change in quantity, it is 120%, 24 plus 130%. Okay, so quantity demanded is greater compared to that of the change in price. So where the demand curve is flatter, and that is called relatively elastic demand. And in case of relatively inelastic demand, demand curve will be steeper. So where for a given change in price, quantity varies less than proportionately. That's the definition. So for a given change in price, so that means variation in price is greater than that of the variation in quantity demanded. Suppose if price falls from 10 units to say price 10 to 4. So quantity demanded may rise from only 8 units to 10 units, for example. So here fall in price is greater, it is about 60%. Whereas rise in quantity demanded is only 20%. So quantity demanded gives lesser proportionate response to a given change in price, in which case demand curve is steeper, where elasticity is equal to less than 1. We have seen in this case here. And then here where elasticity is greater than 1, we will have quantity demanded giving greater response to a change in price. And we have got finally the unitary elastic demand, where demand curve is sloping downwards just like 45 degrees upside down. Okay, where quantity demanded varies exactly proportionately to that of change in price. So here both the boxes A and B would be of the same size. In case of less elastic demand, if you consider as box A and this as box B, change in price on is considered on box A, that will be bigger than that of the change in quantity box B in case of relatively inelastic demand. And in case of relatively elastic demand, this you consider as box A, where change in price is considered, and this you consider as box B, where quantity variation is considered. Box B will be bigger than that of the box A, where elasticity is greater than 1. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.